Janat is a big fan of Paris's electric scooters. He says he hires one most days to get around the city.
E-scooters are really useful because Paris is so busy, especially in rush hour. It's impossible to move around, so thanks to these we can use the cycle lanes. It's much better than a car.
E-scooters were introduced in France in 2018. Since then, they've become part of the landscape in most cities. But some people say they're a nuisance, cluttering pavements and endangering pedestrians. Now the French government's launched a new plan to regulate them. Riders will have to be at least 14 years old, and there'll be tougher penalties for misuse.
2 people on an e-scooter is forbidden today, but the fine is only €35, so it'll be raised to €135. The message is that dangerous behaviour will be penalised.
Dedicated parking zones and lower speed limits are already in place. While the French government is stepping up its regulation of electric scooters, here in Paris, the City Hall is asking people to vote on whether or not to ban them. The 3 companies that provide Paris's e-scooters say a ban would make no sense in a city that's often led the way in promoting low-carbon alternatives to cars and motorbikes.
We very hope indeed that the vote will be positive and that Parisians people will continue to welcome scooters in a safe and sustainable way in the city.
Opinion on the streets, though, is divided.
I can see they offer an alternative form of transport, but at the same time they can be dangerous for pedestrians, the elderly.
I think they've not been around long enough to just scrap them. We need more research on things like dangers, mortality, and perhaps we need better infrastructure for them.
Because the vote's taking place in polling stations rather than online, it's expected to be dominated by older people who are more likely to favour a ban. Once the results are in, it'll be up to Paris's mayor to make the final decision on whether it's really the end of the road for e-scooters in the city. Natacha, Butler, Al Jazeera, Paris.